Right. So, there's two people in our group. It's me and Ben,
Mhm.
and I did all the programming, and he did all the art stuff. So, I guess I'm showing a lot of what his work
Yeah.
is. Uh, this is a general asset for our game because neither of us really have an art background. And I have some experience in 3D modeling from like kit bashing. But okay, I could totally be quieter, which fair enough to people behind me. Um, I have some experience in 3D modeling, but I've equally as much in programming, while he has experience in 3D modeling and none in programming, so I took the programming side. Uh, because neither of us have that much experience, we chose to use a like pixelator shader to sort of cover up any mistakes we would make and give us more like wiggle room with models. Like if there's something off, the shader itself will hide it. This is just examples of models that we made for the game. Were you sent like? Does it necessarily matter what the general concept of the game is? Were you sent like the synopsis or?
Yeah, I was sent it, but
Okay,
going over it again would be great. Just
yeah,
so refresher, because I
it's
read
like
it like
yeah,
30 minutes ago, but
yeah,
I
that's
forgot some
fair.
stuff. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it's dark fantasy-ish. Where it takes place on a train. The train runs on a magic power source. That power source is went haywire. People are getting random illnesses. You are a refugee doctor on the train. You're the only one there because everyone else got segregated. You have narcolepsy, so you're like on a time limit. And the general gameplay is like Phasmophobia-esque. You need to find stuff around the place by rummaging, get those items, test for symptoms, and then go, okay, they have this, 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 and they don't have this, so it's this illness. And then that's the general gameplay loop. So it all takes place on a train. So a lot of the assets will be like briefcases, like bags, like suitcases, that sort of thing. Uh, uh, these were like a lot of our inspirations for art. Uh, the only issue is we couldn't necessarily do it to that quality because neither of us have that experience. But like we're both huge fans of like Pathologic and like Darkwoods art style. I do not have the Unity file on this computer, but there isn't any assets on there that like we don't have somewhere else. Uh, these are some of the assets that he's made so far for like the items around the place. We went with like very unique and odd standoutish colors to sort of show that like the place you're in is unfamiliar. You're not used to it being like this, so it's sort of like it sort of is off-putting in that sense. Uh, what else is there here? We have a 3D main model made, but I don't think there's pictures of it. No, it hasn't been textured yet either, so there isn't much feedback for that. This is just like a bag icon that appears in the top left. This is for the tile-based inventory here. That's a placeholder asset, so there's obviously not going to be that big protruding white background in the game. This is something I'd made for like very basic character concept. Like before we had actually finalized any of it, I went with like very odd colors to once again sort of put that point home that like to like us in our society, these are like weird things to wear, like off-color shoes that are contrasting. But from where he is from, that might be customary, that might be normal. And it's sort of he feels odd and like everyone else is different than him. And I actually don't think I have any more of the assets because I think the rest that have been done is either on Ben's computer or like still in progress.
Yeah, that's fine. Is there anything you want specifically feedback on at the moment? Maybe something you did could feedback on?
Uh, so art style wise, like the only thing I necessarily did was like setting up the pixel shader and doing that.
Yeah,
think
cool.
I
Any
I made this.
screenshots of that? Because I do a lot of
Oh,
shader stuff as well. So if you have screenshots, I can help with the shader.
we have like a top-down perspective here of it on the like placeholder player model.
Okay, so is this basically just pixelating all the models in game
Yeah,
through a post-processing effect? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's just putting it on Unity material, and like every material in the game is using it besides the like UI stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. It makes sense that you guys, if you're not, sorry, shouldn't drink Monster. So yeah, if that makes sense, if you guys don't have a lot of experience 3D modeling, then you might want to try and cover up the mistakes you'll make in the 3D modeling, especially with the like the pixel shader on the post process. That makes a lot of sense. So I think that's a good plan. From the 3D models I've seen, if you're planning to do with PS2, PS1 shader, I think they'll work fine. Obviously, I can't really think of feedbacking anything more because I didn't really get too much to see there. But if you had any like ideas or like reference image of like what kind of thing you want to go with on the trains, like what kind of vibe you want to go for, do you want to go dark and gloomy? I know you said you were going like really out of the box colors and stuff, which actually the idea sounds cool. It would be neat to see how it's executed in the end. That was it.
Yeah. This is the reference stuff that like Ben took for like how the train level would look, or like from like obviously this is from like escapists and all.
Mhm.
But again, I'm sort of leaving him free rein on that because like he knows a bit better than I do on it.
Mhm.
And like obviously he'll come to me and like we'll speak it over for any decisions that are like major. But I've just sort of let him do him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I guess I'll give you just some general advice. Maybe you can pass on the Ben for the trains. So for the train sections, I would try and make each one seem like. So every time you go to the next train, try and make them seem really different, and don't just like make them look copied and pasted. So like, obviously just don't copy one section of the train, move it to the next one, and change the colors about and say, "Oh, that's a new section of the train."
I think the general basis for what we're doing is because there's like a rummaging system and it'll be randomized. It's the like base layout of the train is going to be copy and pasted, but the items within it, where like the briefcases are, where like some of the seats are, like places to search, so that's going to be random each time.
Yeah, I think. Okay, I get what you're saying. I still think maybe make
it's
it 2 or 3
obviously
prefabs of different ones. Yeah,
yeah. I think
switch up
the
those
only
people.
thing stopping us from doing that would be like we're sort of running out of time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah,
That
if we had a lot more time, 100%, I absolutely agree. It does nothing but good, but we're like we're already kind of behind because we overscoped a lot because neither of us have met again before. So
that's fair then. Then in this case, I would
yeah,
say go back to underscoping and cut a lot of stuff that you need to cut because that
yeah,
happens all the time. Like we had to cut a bunch of stuff for a deadline we had to make there, so that happens. So just cut stuff
yeah.
down as much as you can.
There
Like
used to be like 2 times what was here, and we've just cut a lot of it. Anything that
that's
isn't like
fine.
incredibly important, where it's just gone.
Yeah, that's fine. That happens all the time. So yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know what else to give feedback on now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe Ben would have better insight, but he's not here. I just code, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But either way, the things I've seen so far, I really like the shader you did. I always love PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 kind of pixel shaders. Just
Yeah.
I was born around those times, but I don't really remember too much of them, but they're still nostalgic.
Yeah.